Welcome to Tapped In with Tony. Tonight's guests are another pair of siblings, Preston and Hunter Hopperton. Preston is an upcoming senior at Streetsboro, and Hunter plays college football for Rhode Island. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having
Thank you for
us.
having us.
Not a problem. Seen both of you guys play over the past few years. Both of the players are for both guys played for Streetsboro, and they've also played on the offensive side of the football.
Yep.
So it's great seeing the Streetsboro program over the past few years.
It's great having you there watching us.
hmm
Absolutely. So, Hunter, my first question is for you. How did you get started playing football?
I started football in fifth grade. I actually started out as a center, and then I remember playing, and I seen a couple of the older guys that were playing tight end, and I was like, man, that looks like the coolest position on the field. Like they're blocking, they're catching balls, and so that summer I really focused on like what I was eating. Even at that young age, I started to focus on what I was eating, conditioning, and trying to get in better shape so that I could play that position. Played it in sixth grade, and then the rest is history.
Wow, you
Yeah.
were focused on fit in fifth grade. You were focused on what you're eating.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the healthy way to do it, but that was just the way I was when I was younger.
And
So
Preston, what about you?
I started in fourth grade. I was a running back. I didn't take it serious at all though, because my main sport was probably baseball at the time. So I just played. I seen him play. I used to like sit at his practices, and I didn't play any sports at the time. And I used to sit there and just watch. And then one year they all told me to play, so I played.
Cool.
sit there with a little iPad and a lawn chair and
hmm
watch our practices.
Wow.
Yep.
And Hunter, you've experienced the rise of the Streetsboro football program over the years because
Yep.
prior to 2019, the only season, if I'm forgetting any other seasons, I apologize. 2012, they made the playoffs.
Yep.
But you were part of a program that went from 4-6 in 2018 and then made a playoff run in 2019.
Yep.
So, how was that like getting to experience that growth that the program took?
Ever since we were young, my grade and a couple of the grades above me, the coaches really told us they were like, you guys are going to be the next good generation that comes through here. And so we took that and we took that standard and we ran with it kind of. And we had the success that we had. It was expected. Although my senior year, we wish we went a little bit further. Losing to Chardon was heartbreaking, but it happens sometimes. But it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of good people. A lot of my best friends played with during that time, so it was cool. And especially playing with him, it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And speaking of that 2019 year, talk to me about that for a little bit. That and 2020 when you guys went 10-0, knocked off St. Vincent St. Mary, one of the more prominent teams in Northeast Ohio. And
Yep.
how was that like navigating playing football against the COVID-19 pandemic where there was a threat for there not to even have been a season?
A lot of things were up in the air early on, and then we found out that we were going to have a season, and we were thankful. And it worked out good. That season was very very special. Although I was a sophomore and didn't have the biggest role on the team, I still did what I could. Played outside receiver that year. Had a lot of good players on the team. Um, like Chris Riley, Carter Giacomo, Donnie Washington, like all those guys, good dudes. So learned a lot from them and continued the legacy after that.
Awesome. And Preston, you came through a little later. How was it like for you? Because I know every player, every person views it differently. Because I know Hunter, you got some playing time on varsity, and Preston, you were coming up through the program.
Yeah, I started. Well, I didn't play varsity much my freshman year. I'd mostly be on scout team, just getting killed by these older guys. Absolutely killed. And I just stayed patient. And I came my sophomore year, and it's a ton of fun.
Right? And Hunter, did either or both of you guys play different sports? I know Preston. I know
I
you
run
did
track.
track a little bit.
I have second year track.
Wow. What about you, Hunter?
I played basketball until my sophomore year, but I kept getting benched because I would just cherry pick and try and dunk. Um,
Oh,
yeah, Yeah. And so I was like, I'm just kind of wasting my time. I think I could be good at football. So I just stopped doing that and focused solely on football. I enjoy basketball a lot. I enjoy it, especially playing pickup with my friends. That's way more fun to me than recreational team stuff, because then I can do whatever I want and not get in trouble or have to sit and watch other people play.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how did you navigate the recruiting process, Hunter? Because prior to playing at Rhode Island, you committed to Colgate initially.
Lafayette.
Lafayette, I apologize. Lafayette.
Yeah. It was different for me growing up, especially my sophomore, junior year. A lot of people told me that my best bet was going to be D3, smaller D2 schools, and I kind of just looked at those people and I was like, why am I going to let them decide how everything's going to play out for me? And so I kind of took things in my own hands, went on the Twitter grind, posting videos, reaching out to coaches every day. I was probably really annoying to a lot of coaches because I would be, good morning, coach, how are you? A lot of unanswered messages, but a lot of answered messages. And so it worked out in the end. And then committed to Lafayette. I love that school, still do. It just didn't work out. And I'm at a good spot now and happy with it. So.
Fair enough. And I understand you probably went on quite a few recruiting visits, and you got to also respect the grind, because, there are a lot of coaches saying, class of 24s, 25, 26, send me your highlights. And sometimes you do have to bet on yourself, because sometimes there are kids that are super talented. They take a lesser offer when they can potentially bet on themselves and get something and play ball, have the chance to play ball no matter where you're at.
Yep.
D1, D2, etc.
Yep. And it's really easy for a lot of kids to get discouraged, especially with the pace of the recruiting process. For a lot of people, it doesn't go as fast as they'd like it to, or just not as many people are reaching out to them. But there's a plan for everybody, I believe. And if you work hard and you put in the work and you're good to people, I believe that you'll always get what's coming to you.
That's really great advice. And Preston, you guys were at the how's the recruiting process going for you? You don't have to say where you're committed to yet.
No, I'm not in that position yet. But I'm talking to a lot of schools. It's going well. I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Staying patient.
Gotcha. And speaking of which, it's great, like I said, being able to see that Streetsboro program through the years as someone who's taken video for Keon Sports. And talk to me about the playoff game 2021. You guys had a playoff game against West Geauga, so I want each of you guys to share something from that.
Well, I'll let the hero go first. So that
hero. I thought it was really just an all offensive game. Defense was really rough, and that's why I think our offense won a majority of our games that year, just because we'd outscore everybody. And he made it too easy. In that West Geauga game, I remember I got the jet sweep one time, and I would just put my hand on his back and just like throw him into people, and it's just too free. But then there was that one catch before halftime. That was probably the coolest play of my career. That one really brought the energy.
No, we always say that he's the hero, because it was like almost every time he would make the biggest, craziest plays at home, and everybody would go wild. And afterwards, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Preston!" And so that's like a him and Mason Climack. We always say that they're the heroes. So.
Oh yeah, that was great, especially witnessing that behind the camera, because I know Mason picked off the pass.
Mm-hmm.
I just gone down to the West Geauga side of the field. Now I gotta go all the way down to the other end. It's like Mason ran out of bounds with 3 seconds left, and then I'm thinking this has to end in a touchdown. Sure enough, it does.
For me, that game was a lot of fun. I was limited, very limited, because a week or two previously I had a high ankle sprain, and so it was tough to kind of push through on that, but I made do. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and he carried a lot of the weight where I couldn't. So with 4 touchdowns, so
5, 4, yeah.
And Preston, you're talking about your junior year last season. You guys qualified for the playoffs. How was that? It was probably a little different since Hunter has graduated. And Hunter, I'll ask you about your time at Rhode Island a little
Yep.
bit. Preston, talk to me about your experience.
This year was definitely a lot harder because I didn't have him blocking for me, but it still was a lot of fun. Sad those seniors are gone, but it's time to move on, start a new season. We didn't get everything we wanted last year, so we're coming for more.
I like the confidence.
Yep.
Coming for more.
And Hunter, how is the pace of the college game as compared to the high school game since you're at Rhode Island now? And
It doesn't even compare, to be honest with you. It doesn't even compare. It's way faster. At every position, it's like you got dudes that are one step down from being at the next level. Way faster, way more physical. You could pretty much just imagine high school football, but on steroids. That's the best way I could explain it. It was a lot to adjust to when I first got there. I know my first couple reps in camp, I was a little flabbergasted because it was like super quick. But then I got the hang of it. Ended up playing in every game as a true freshman, so that was cool. On special teams and at tight end. So I couldn't have asked for a better freshman year, and looking forward to what's to come this year.
That's amazing. And what's been your favorite part of the experience so far as a freshman at a college program like Rhode Island? You're playing, and you're getting to play in all 12 games. Congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate it. The best part about it, I would say, it's you kind of grow up a lot being that far away, as well as going through such a tough, grueling process of 6 a.m. wake up to 11 at night. You're going to bed, and then you're going to do the same exact thing the next day. You kind of figure out a lot about yourself. You figure out how tough you are, how much you can really take. So I'd say that was the best part for sure. Mentally, I feel like I grew up a lot more. It's cool when you grow up mentally from something that's so physically demanding that you're just like, you have to go to that next step. That's just like, I have to get through this. Like, there's no other option. I have to get through this.
Gotcha. And Preston, you ran track this past spring and went to states. How was the track season for you, and how does that help out with football?
I think track helps tremendously. It makes you a lot faster, definitely. But this year I had a few injuries, and I definitely didn't get all I wanted from track. So I'm just trying to use that and say that like it won't happen to me in this season, and like I want more.
Gotcha. I really like the confidence that you guys have. You guys want more.
Yep.
Like the confidence. Is there a favorite song that either of you guys like listening to that gets you hyped up to play football?
Before a game?
Yes.
Different genres for different things. So if it's before a game, I'm kind of weird. My Way by Frank Sinatra?
Oh, you're Frank
You know,
Sinatra.
like, yeah, you know the part where he's like, what does he say? It's kind of like right after the beginning, and it starts to pick up faster and faster and faster. I don't know why. That song just kind of reminds me a lot about what I've been through.
Gotcha.
And like what's to come. So that's kind of what I listen to. Other than that, I only listen to country music. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what about you, Preston?
I'll be honest. I don't listen to music when I'm doing anything. Like I don't work out with music. I don't do anything with music. So I think like if I'm listening to music to give me motivation, then like where's the music gonna be while I'm playing? So like I train without the music so that I'm used to it.
Wow, that's impressive. It says different strokes for different folks.
Strokes for different folks.
And Hunter, speaking of country, is there a favorite? Who's on your country Mount Rushmore? I'm gonna ask you that.
Riley Green, Chris Stapleton. I'll give you top 3. So those 2, and then
you're not putting Morgan Wall in top 3.
Morgan Wallen's up there. I've talked a lot of trash on Luke Holmes, but there's a couple songs as of recently that I'm like, man, this is good. But Riley Green for sure. Riley Green's my number 1 as of recently. Chris Stapleton will always be up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Preston, if you just had to pick one song, like if you had to pick whether it be R&B, country, I know you say you don't listen to music during workouts. If you had to pick one,
I like Tennessee whiskey.
Yep.
That's what we used to play Tennessee whiskey after every game we won my sophomore year.
Yep.
In the locker room, and that was always that's a good memory.
Gotcha. And
It's probably my favorite.
And you answered my question. You answered the last question I had, Preston and Hunter. What was your favorite memory of high school football?
Definitely, it's going to be from my senior year. Specifically, I would say that first game of the season against Girard.
That's a good one.
There was just a lot of big moments. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, even just seeing, like, we kind of didn't know what Preston was going to be coming into that game. A lot of things were up in the air, and I just remember coming out of halftime. It was just everybody kind of was like in awe because we couldn't believe like what we were seeing. Because I mean, you come out of halftime, rush for like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns as a sophomore, and then I also had a pretty sweet catch going into halftime, and so. Yeah, that was definitely it. And me, him, and Mason had 4 touchdowns apiece, so that was 100%. And that's actually where the Tennessee whiskey tradition started, because we had a speaker in the locker room after that game, and it's funny when like you have all these different kinds of people that like kind of don't listen to the same thing, but everybody can appreciate how good of a song that is, and so everyone's just singing it like at the top of their lungs. The coaches are singing it. We're getting on the bus to that song, and it was that kind of just kicked off what was going to be like such a special year.
I imagine, and I imagine that performance. I believe you guys scored 70 in that game against Girard.
Yeah,
I believe that had to set some school record.
Yeah, I think it. Don't quote me on this, but I think it is the most touchdowns by brothers in Ohio in a night, 4 and 4. That's what my dad says. He might just be telling us that.
That is actually.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Wow.
it was awesome either way.
That's incredible. And I'm excited to see how much you guys grow over the next few years.
100%.
Thank you guys for coming on the show. If you've got anything you want to plug or any kind of message, floor is yours.
I just want to say that everybody keep watching Tony. He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great person all around. Every time you see him, he's got a big smile on his face. He's a good guy. So.
Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe. It's Tapped In with Tony on YouTube and also on Spotify and all streaming services.